Good afternoon, all my friends out there in Flosstube land. This is Jenny with Needlework on the Go, coming to you with episode number 3. I'm just calling it a little fall bonanza. Shall we call it that? Got a lot of autumn kind of things going on. Some old finishes, a couple new finishes, some haul, all the good stuff that we all enjoy about Flosstube. I think first, just a little catch up today. It's been a great fall, enjoying wonderful weather this weekend. It's very sunny, bright. I tried to record yesterday, but had some tech issues. My daughter was over today, so she kind of helped figure that out. Thank goodness for Rachel. Today, it's still bright and sunny. I still have my cup of coffee, so we'll just have an afternoon chat instead of a Sunday morning chat. How about that? Let's see, what else have I been up to? I've been on the go. That's why it's been so long since I've been back. A lot of back and forth with our second home in LaPorte, just enjoying life. Nothing super duper, just staying busy. Once fall comes, the pace kicks up. You know, you have church and Bible studies, and kids are busier in their lives. We went down to see my son a couple weekends ago. That was a lot of fun. Fast trip. He lives about 4.5 hours from here, down closer to St. Louis. He is doing well, works at a bank. Got to see his new apartment, and Joe did some minor repairs and things that he needed doing in his new space. And being the mom, I made sure he had new drapes on his windows instead of the sheets that he had hanging there. You know, as a mom, we gotta help our sons along sometimes. Well, probably our daughters too. It doesn't matter on the gender, but just help your kids along on things. It's part of the fun of being a parent. And so we had a nice visit. And then this weekend, my husband went out to LaPorte, and I just kind of hung around our house here in Westmont and had a low-key day, which was nice. And then I've been to my Tart groups, which is my Tuesdays are reserved to Stitch group. A lot of fun. We meet just about every Tuesday when we're all able to. I'm the youngster of the group, which is kind of funny because at almost 62, I'm not necessarily feeling young. And then I had a wonderful day last Monday. A friend of mine invited me and some of her other friends to her home, which was decorated so beautifully for the autumn. She had a table, was just laid out gorgeous. She's a fellow stitcher. Some of her stitching was out. Just had a wonderful, wonderful day of hanging out with a few friends and catching up with them all. And then I think that's probably about all I need to really catch you up on. Just enjoying life, rolling along, shall we say. Today I thought I would start out and show you a few of my previous finishes. Most of these are from like years ago. For some reason, I don't have a lot of autumn. I have more Christmas and patriotic, but I love autumn. It probably is my favorite season. But I plan to fix that in the coming years, just some more autumn stuff. But you'll see some of these. I'm pretty sure some of these are no longer in print, but you might be able to catch them on the secondary market. I had to do a bit of research on a few, and one nice thing for doing this, I updated the backs with the name of the designer and the chart name and the approximate date I stitched it, if I could remember. I'm going to start out with a current fully finished, and this is the sweet little design, the etching series from Heart and Hand. I love this series. This was the most recent one I did in the series. I think this was originally also in the Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. That's where my chart came from, but you can get it now as a standalone chart. And I had my framer at House of Stitches. There's a name for these little doohickeys. I just call them doohickeys, but so I can pop it out. And then I have 2 other seasons. This was the summer one. And then I previously had the spring one done. And I'm going to finish the winter one soon, so that'll be out. So all 4 will be finished. I just love these owls. They're so sweet. And then I just keep them all together in a little tidy stack, and I have a drawer in my buffet that I keep them all together in there. How about a little Halloween? I really don't stitch a lot of Halloween. I do more autumn. But this is from Pine Needle. This, I couldn't even tell you the date. It's old. This is very old. It came as a little kit. But it was just fun. I love those little houses and the bright colors. Spooktacular, I believe, is the name of the design. From Pine Mountain, I think. They make the little pillows and it comes as a kit. Pine Mountain. This one is quite ancient. I put this out more around Thanksgiving. Let me put that here. It's from Cedar Hill. They have not been designing for many years. I've done a fair bit of theirs. They had one design that was a baby sampler that I swear I did for every friend that was having a baby. But this one is called, I forget what it's called actually. I'm guessing this was late 90s, early 2000s. So it comes out in the fall. I love this one. I love the pumpkin on this one. This is Pumpkin Flower sampler from Bent Creek. And this was, the date I have on this was 2000 and when it was finished. That doesn't mean that's when it was started, but that's when it was finished. I want to get close. Look at the pretty corners on that frame. Just love the corners of those. So pretty. Typical of lots of pretty buttons back then. This one is from a Heart and Hand, I believe. Harvest Home. Yep, Heart and Hand. And this one was stitched in 2001. Just look at that tall, skinny house. Cute as could be. And this is one of my favorites. I just have always loved this one. It's 3 in a row, and it's called the Great White Pumpkin from Heart and Hand. I don't know if you can still get this or not, but you could do a Google or check it out and find out. That button came with the chart. I love that checkerboard border. Just a fun, kind of timeless design, isn't it? And then two more things I'll show you. This is the Heartware Bowl also from Heart and Hand. I have a lot of the seasonal ones done of this, but I keep them also in the same little buffet. But I love this bowl. It's beautiful pottery, or stoneware. It's really nice. I added the little charm to mine, a little acorn. This was one of my first finishes. I just finished this earlier this year. I'm kind of trying to get myself into finishing mode. I'm not the best with glue, so if I had to do it over, I might hand sew it, but you know, you got to start somewhere, and I've been told it just comes with practice. So this one is not the best finishing, but it's done and I get to enjoy it. So you just got to keep practicing. That's what I'm going to do, is keep practicing. And then one more. This one's been around a long time. It kind of rotates in my home. I'm trying to get the glare off there. It's called The Harvest from Told in the Garden. I love the frame. Had it framed at House of Stitches years ago. Let's see what the date is. I think it, yeah, 2006. Oh, quite a long time. I can tell you that the tree and then the bottom there with all the bright pinks and stuff, that takes quite some time to stitch, but it's doable. I believe Missy just showed this on her floss tube. Missy with 2 needles pulling thread. I love watching those girls. She's just started this, and it's a project well worth it. So it's kind of cool to see this design. I'm sure is from the 90s, because that took a long time. I think I stitched on it on and off for like 10 years, and finally, so yeah, it would have been in 96 probably when I started it. But a lot of fun. I leave it out in my dining room. It's a good fit in there. So I think that's all my finishes I'll show you today. Speaking of finishes, I will have a lot more to show you from my under the bed box finishes. There'll be a lot of autumn pieces in that. In my next one, hopefully it won't be as long, maybe just in a couple weeks. I'll pull those out and show you all my finishes. This would have gone on a long time if I had done everything at one go. Okay, let's get into some stitching, I think, first. I have like about a week and a couple of days to get this old whip done. Remember my discussion about the code red scenario last time. So this is a code red that I would love to have off my whip pile. Pumpkin Patch from Prairie Schooler. I gave this a light press, not a huge press, but just enough so it wasn't so wrinkled. I'm got a lot done in the last couple weeks, but I have really that bottom section and a big tree to do on there. Happy with how it's coming out. But I won't get it framed this year, but I'm determined to get it stitched. And I'll probably get it framed late summer next year in 2024 and have it hanging up. I love Prairie Schooler. Heart and Hand, Tom Turkey sampler. Picked this up a day or two ago. I really want to get this done, so this is probably going to be getting a lot of love this week. Covering up that cute turkey. And this, I'm working on a 32 count piece of Picture This Plus Wren. I think I just had that ABC done, so I picked this up yesterday and started the letters. Gonna get those done first. So hopefully next time that will be in the finished. It'll be a new finish next time. In the last few weeks, probably the 4 to 6 weeks, I have some of my Sampler September whips in here now because it's been so long. But I had shown this as a whip, the Ocean Blue stocking. Absolutely love this. But I wasn't thrilled about my fabric choice. I wasn't using called for. This is still not called for, but I absolutely love it. So I'm much happier, and it's a full-on throttle. This is gonna be getting lots and lots of love. Do I have it upside down? Sure do. Let's try this. The waves may look better that way. So that's what, doesn't that just show up beautiful on this fabric? This is 40 count Dapple, I believe, from We Will Die For You. Where's my tag here? Yeah, 40 count Dapple from We Will Die For You. And I'm absolutely thrilled with the fabric and the colors on the fabric. So that will, I'm kind of excited about getting back to that, which means that it's a good fit when you're excited about it. A little small Heart and Hand. I think this one's probably going to get tabled until next fall because I'm going to go to the winter one. Love this series. Cecilia, she just comes out with some of the fantastic seasonal kind of designs. This is where I'm at. Still got the hoop marks in it. That moth is kind of cool, isn't it? But I have one in at the framer right now. I'm going to do the same type of setup on the frame that I had showed you before, where you can pop out on the back. And it just adds a nice bit of seasonal to your other stuff. This was a whip, the winter one. And so I'm switching to this one now because I would really like to get this done for this year. That fox and the reindeer just cracked me up. So that'll be fun. So autumn doodle, you're gonna go into the widths for next fall. That's the challenge when you stitch your seasonal in season. It takes you a while, but that's okay. As you can see, I do get stuff done. It just takes me longer, but I'm okay with it. I certainly have no shortage of projects. Let's see, where did my thread? Oh, I think my threads. These are the threads. My piles kind of got mixed up here. Give me 1 second here. Just organize those. You don't want your threads getting mixed up. Mary Ann Kopp, 1839, from With Thy Needle. This is another one. I am just chomping to get, like, really get some done on this. I'm doing Everything's Called For on this. 36 count American chestnut from R&R and the called for threads. I'm very, very tight, tighter than I would like to be. I'm trying to remember to pull my thread through so they don't dangle during Flosstube, but I'll get there eventually. But I mean, look at that orangey color. I want to do the border on this and the brick house. Love a good brick house. That border on there. And these were the colors. It's a little brighter, I would think, than Brenda usually does, but I love it. But I'm okay. I would not recommend this as a norm. I measured it as 1 3/4 inch. Normally I want at least 2 inches, but I will just sew. You can do like muslin to the edge so you can have something to pull for stretching. So I'm okay with it, but I do normally, and I would recommend having at least 2 inches. I rarely go to 3 inches anymore, almost always 2 inches, and it's been fine. I'm coming back for you. I love that one. And this is the sampler. This one is, I just lovingly refer to her as Sarah. We're on a first name basis from Jessie and me. And this one, a year from now, will be framed, the Lord willing, and hanging on my wall because, yep, I made a commitment and I want to honor my commitment. I'm going to fold it up so I can zoom in here a little bit. With the guild that I'm in, Sampler Guild of the Rockies. It's a new, I just joined this year and I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. One of 2 guilds I'm in. I like both of the guilds, but I kind of changed the colors on the top of this rosebud. So I had to take some out and now they're almost all in. My goal for October, so I have about 8 days, is to get all of the flowers done. And then if I can, I'd like to get the green leaves done on this. But my commitment, this is one of my, they call it a UFO challenge. So this is the big commitment. I have one other one, a much smaller one. I think it's a Scarlet House. I forget the name of it, but this was Sarah Casey. I don't know if I showed that. I'm a huge Jessie and me geek. I love everything that Linda does. But, so hopefully each month you'll see a lot of this. You'll see my progression on this. Stay tuned. We'll see if I follow through. I'm pretty sure I will. That's one of those ones, like Pam says, I want to stitch before I die. I want that stitched and hanging on my wall. And I want to put some, like a dedication, if you will, on the back of why the stitch is so important to me personally. And I want to do that and then put it on the back for my family. And then Riley Harbor got some love, not a lot, but some. I'm gonna kick up on this in November and December. I really want to get this done by the first part of 2024. So this is my in-hand sewing method project that I started doing, and I'm a little crooked there. I got down there by that boat and finished that boat up and the blue, and I'm starting the little crab on it. So I'm excited to get over to that ginormous whale. I had to do a couple color changes, but when I'm done, I'll write those out on there. This coming up was one of my September, sampler September. I always say that backwards. Start. I think I probably had like four or five starts. One is already derailed. I wasn't liking my fabric choice. Plans are made to be broken, right? Isn't that one of the sayings in life? This is called, I guess I should show you the chart first. It's 1,000 Hills. Carol, the Saltbox Stitcher, she has this finished and hanging on her wall. I'm pretty sure I've seen it a couple other places from Plum Street. So that was my start. I'm very excited to get back to this one too. I just noticed I got something on my fabric here. I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't think it's anything I did. I think it was just in the fabric. See that? I don't know what that's about. I'm gonna have to check that out. Emergency. SOS. Now this is a fun one. This was a very small start for September, and I'm using the Called For Silks. And it's the Ellen Harrison 1889 sampler. This is the one that I kind of chuckled. I did a post on my start on this and said the eye kind of reminds me of like a Star Wars mythical creature, and Laura apparently saw that. Thought that was funny, but doesn't it look like a Star Wars or kind of science fiction-y a little bit? But this person had a vivid imagination. I'm trying to remember, does it have the person's age? Yeah, she was young, and she was 12. And the other quirky thing is she finished her saying by stitching it on the line above, which is quite funny. Kind of like, I'm not starting over. It's going to be what it's going to be. She would have been a good student of Jean, right? Always forward, never backwards. But don't those colors pop? I just have a small start. But the silk was luscious working on it. Everything is called for on this from Needlework Press. Settle down, Ollie. Ollie's being a little rambunctious over here. He has to be part of everything, you know. Now this sampler, I started technically in late August. I'm in love with it, and I think next to Sarah Casey, it's probably, I don't know, there's something about this one. I keep showing you my work. I'm so excited about it. I should show you the chart first. It's Jane Parson sampler from the Wishing Thorn, and I really like this designer. She gave a bunch of options that you could do. Some Brenda from Brenda and Laura the Serial Starter Flosstube. She just showed her finish of this on Instagram. I would imagine she's going to show her finish on their next Flosstube. But she did it in the wools. This is the DMC version on 36 count, and I'm using Affogato from Fibers on a Whim. But I love how that pink color is popping on there. It's not big. This is I was surprised. Like, it's a small sampler, but just a dream to stitch. Though this won't necessarily be a dream because I'm going to do the over one version. But again, really neat that Bushing Thorn, they gave you the over 2 option. Yet they had to change things around a little bit, but I thought that is just a wonderful thing to do so more people can stitch that sampler or want to. I got a little bit in on Sing On Rejoicing. Kim Goldman finished hers, and I see it when I watch her floss tube, and I love it. This is just a happy sampler to me. I'm doing everything called for except for the fabric. My fabric is I forget what my fabric is. Let me check here because I don't want to tell you wrong. It's Fiber on a Whim Milk and Honey 40 count. And I finished this motif, and I did this one right here. I did that home. So I'm going to try to get a couple motifs done a month. It just cycles through my rotation. This is another wonderful fabric. It's been a pleasure. These colors are brighter than what I would normally stitch, but that's okay. So that got some love on this rotation. And this one I just started last weekend for no reason other than I wanted to. Don't know if I'll get it done this year. I'm kind of mad at myself, but it's okay. See how long this is? It's not that long. It's long. I centered it, and I meant when I started it to cut off the piece, but use it for another small, but it's okay. Things happen. And I'm using the DMC conversion provided, not the overdyes. And I think it's coming, but I did use this much more overdyed fabric. I think this is, I know it's a picture this plus. Couldn't tell you what it is. I think it's Legacy. Yep. 36 count Legacy. And I got a couple of those pumpkins done. So this one may get done this year, may not. We'll see. Christmas is starting to call. That's for sure. I think I showed this last time. This was a purchase. Autumn Quaker from Primrose. I got it as a kit. I came from Color and Cotton. Let me make sure. Yeah, I want to make sure I had it in the right direction. It's fun. It's 2 over 2. It's fun, and it really worked up quick. Don't know if this one will be done either, but I'll have some new starts, some whips for next fall. There's a Facebook group called Land of Lincoln Stitchers. They're doing a stitch along for this particular thing. They had the finishing fabric and stuff. But there a lot of people have gotten it done in there. And plus, I had a nice chunk of fabric to do something else with. I think my final whip that I'm going to show today. Oh, I should mention, this was the Color and Cotton color on that last one. It's beautiful, beautiful color. Okay, the last one here is a pin keep, but I call it a small sampler because we all know Miss Stacy makes very large pin keeps. So I got quite a bit done on this one. I did a lot up here. Did more of the house fill in the roof, and this one I'll start working on a lot this week. I'm going to work on this one through November, or I may just keep going. I'm not going to do the faces on mine. I never intended to, and quite honestly, it didn't dawn on me. You can't tell from this picture up here that it says Jack, and then another, I forget what the other word was, but it's more geared towards Halloween. I didn't know that when I started this, but I had seen the jack-o'-lantern faces and had already decided. Oh, it says Boo. Oh, I can't show you the pattern. It says Boo and Jack on it. So I want more just autumn on mine. So I've been looking in my sampler motif book, and I'll come up with something to put in there. But I love this. I love the color of the house. So I would love to have that done. And so I may just keep going with it until it's done. It's a great project for all that fill-in when you're watching something good on TV, right? Let's see. What shall we do next? So those are my whips. How about if we talk, oh, I have one other whip. Sorry, it's in this bag. I keep it in a different, this is a little bag that I take with me back and forth to the other house, in addition to my big go bag. And I have a couple of different projects. It's a Yahtzee bag. Her name just left me. Stitch Roadies. She is a big fan of these Yahtzee bags, but I had gone to a retreat 2 or 3 summers ago, and someone had one, and then we all ended up buying this smaller one, because once you see someone else, you know, you gotta have what they have. So, but I have to say, it's full of pockets. 1, 2, 3, 4 separate sections of pockets, and then additional space. But I keep my beading things if I just want to take one beading project with me, which is what I did. And I'm almost done, but it's still a whip, isn't it? I'm new to this. This is my first Mill Hill, and I have a big collection, but I haven't stitched any of them. But this is as cute as can be. I'm gonna do a little hanger on it. So a couple of the gals in my stitching group, they're into these Mill Hills, but I'm not sure. I'm hoping I asked them if they were tight enough. I wasn't sure on it. The back is a mess, but that's okay. No one's gonna see the back, but it's fun. It's something different. So that was called Tree Shopping from Mill Hill. So I keep that in here, and then I keep really sharp applique scissors. I have another project. I have 2 different sizes on my applique. That's something I really want to get into. I'll just show you this since I'm here. This is a buttermilk basin kit, and I got, it's old. I've had it a long time, and this is one of the things I want to get done. But like you see on my little bits. So it was 9 or 12 blocks, and it has a gorgeous border with buttons, and maybe once I get going on this one, I'll show you. But the one that I will show you in here, since I have it out, and then it's technically a whip. So this is a wool project. I love all those wool things. There's a bunch of people right now really into the wool. Katie from So Tattered and Celeste from Celeste Creates, they're doing Wool Wednesday. I think there's a couple other people on that wool train. But this was a kit, and I have it cut out, and I don't want to lose my parts. So it's a table topper. Isn't this beautiful? So now I'm just going to sew it down, and then there's some specialty stitching to kind of create these vines. But this is the project. So I'm hoping that this will be done this year. I'd love to have this out for Thanksgiving, but the kit that I had bought it from, and it's so old I couldn't even tell. I know you can still get this kit from Primitive Gathering, but it came with the threads, the pearl cottons, and then it also came with, I love this color backing fabric for it. So I keep that in here with me, and that is something I can actually do in the car, but until they're really, I know that they're on there good, I don't want to lose any of those little pieces somewhere in the abyss of my car. So, but hopefully that will be done by Thanksgiving this year. How about if I show you a couple finishes, and then I'll show you my haul. I just finished the 3rd design. I had the other 2 designs. Pumpkin Patch Pin Keeps. I had finished the other two. I'll show you those first. I haven't picked out my finishing fabric yet. I think this one goes this way. Here's this one. There are similarities, but they're different. Then this one was done. And this is the one I just finished. Make sure I have it wrong upside down. So I just finished this one last night. So all three are done. And those are going to be fully finished this week, hopefully. And when you got the chart, you got one of the buttons, but I have in my stash some other pins with buttons on them and stuff that I'm going to tuck in there with them. So happy about that. And then another fun finish since I last saw you is the 2021 Prairie Schooler Santa. And here's my finish. This fabric is 32 count pebble from We Will Die For You. I'm very excited because I just sent them an email and asked if they had any more of this. I want to get some in 32 and some in 36. I loved the color. These Prairie Schoolers really pop on there. So I have a good plan. I'm going to do a trio of framed pieces. Normally, if I was stitching on 18 count equivalent, which would be 36, they'd be a little smaller. So these are a little bigger. So I'm going to have a trio of 3 framed pieces with this 32 count pebble. That's what I've decided. So I'm starting, forget what year it is, but I'm starting the one with the lobster and the little backpack thing. And then the third one also has animals, so they'll all have some kind of nature-y. The little trio will all be about the nature stuff. So very happy with that. That's going to go to the framer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get that one framed this year, even though the other 2 pieces are not fully stitched. But I'm going to buy all 3 frames at the same time. Because I've learned the hard way thing, just like fabrics and overdyes, you can have changes in framing too if you don't get them at the same time. So let's talk about some haul, and then I have a little bit of knitting I thought I would show, and then I think we'll be finished for this time. Now this isn't maybe every single thing of haul. I got some things got put away, but it gives you a general idea, and you've seen most of this stuff. Got the ornament book, and I have a couple picked out from here. The one that I am going to stitch this year, I was looking at it yesterday. I pulled some of the colors from my stash, and then I have to get a couple more. In particular, I love this one from Fox and Rabbit. Love that little cardinal sitting on the little reindeer. It's so sweet. So that'll be my first one. I love the other one with the deers. And then there was, and I love this owl. That was a new designer. I had not heard of him before, but I love that owl. I guess I really like animals. Who knew, right? I got the punch needle primitive stitcher. Excited about the winter one coming. I forget her first name. I think it's Michelle. Maine Moose Stitcher on Instagram. She is working on this one. I'm pretty sure it's this one. I love that. A lot of fun stuff in this one. And I think if you're into punch needle, this is a good issue. I love the look, but maybe someday I'll try it again. But I didn't seem to have the knack for it. Very excited about this. Sadly, I don't remember whose floss tube I saw this on. It was on a floss tube, and I went right to the internet, and you know, there was a ka-ting moment. There are so many projects in here that I would make, and it looks very informative, a lot of information. Yeah, I got it a little bit too late this year, but I mean, look at that. I don't want to show you the design here. Isn't that pretty? Love it. And then there was a whole trio of things. There was a ginormous pear. It's hard to show you things without showing you what's in here. There's like a little wool bird. So cute. So just, I would say I'd almost make every single thing in this book. This is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So thank you to the mystery person that I sadly cannot remember, because I'd love to give you credit for enabling me, but I honestly cannot remember. Then I got this from House of Stitches. Let me get a few charts here that I got from House of Stitches. Again, we all know Kim had these charts because they're birds, but I just think they're beautiful. Rosella Ross in particular. I don't know, I love them both. They call for really different colors. This one has a lot of DMC. This one has a lot of overdyes, but provides the DMC conversions. So I love it when designers take the time to provide good conversions of whatever it is they're doing. Because I know it's labor intensive, because just when I've done a couple conversions on my own, it's time. Takes a lot of time. But I love that Rosella Ross. No intention to start them soon, but probably next year. And then Teresa Kogut, love, love, love. Because, you know, it's the ocean. So this will definitely be on my bucket list for a start next year. I feel like my nautical stitches are getting a little out of control, so I got to finish a couple things before. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but just so you know, that's how the chart is on the inside. I mean, I love it because you can see without having to use magnification. That's the only reason why I wanted to show you that. I'm not sure how I feel about the color charts. I have mixed feelings on that, but I love the size of how she did her patterns in here. It's just fabulous. And then there's this cute, look at that mermaid. She's very cute. And I'm just curious how she managed to get her hair in a bun under the water. Food for thought there. Maybe she has a special hairstylist. I don't know. Let's see. I am going to do better about writing things down. I realize at this time, because I forget where I'm ordering stuff. I think I ordered this from Kitten Stitcher. I'm almost positive. I've loved this for a long time. I ordered something else from her. I thought, you know, I'm nabbing this so that I have it. It calls for MPIs. I might do an overdyed conversion. Might not. But I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I also got this too. I think Katie from So Tattered showed this or mentioned this chart. That girl gets me in trouble. Trouble, 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 that girl. Now, this is exciting. I have to tell you, I'm was quite excited about this. I was having the whole FOMO thing, fear of missing out. With all you people going to these fantastic retreats, it really makes me happy to see all the retreats that are around, because there seemed to be a lull for a few years. I will tell you, putting on retreats is a massive amount of work, and if you get to go, lucky you. It's fun. I've been to different retreats. I think I may try to go to what's the one in St. Louis? Galleria next year, and I may try to go to the one in Kansas. Quilter Station, I think, or something. But in the interim, my dream place to go would be the attic, because as you can tell, I love samplers. Well, the attic is a long way from the Chicago area. I've mentioned to my husband, so how would you feel about taking a road trip and we could make a vacation out of it and that kind of thing. So you never know. But in the meantime, I decided if I can't go to the attic's coming to me. So I had put in an order quite some time ago, but their holdup was the silks, which is okay. Nothing that I had ordered was anything I needed urgently. But I'm so excited the order came. It was wrapped beautifully in this tissue paper that I kept somewhere. I think I'm going to put it in one of my stitching boxes on something. I'm going to decoupage part of the tissue as a special memory because I don't know if I'm ever going to get to go to the attic. Let me show you this one. I've been wanting this one for a long time. I loved it from the first time they showed it on their Flosstube. I want to say it was at least 2 years ago. From Hands to Work Revisited. It's I think it was had been published and then came out, and it is exclusive to, from my understanding, to the attic. So I got the pattern. I think this could change, but I went ahead and ordered the silks anyways. I'm pretty sure these are the silks. It's called Chocolate. It's a Belsois. I haven't totally settled on a fabric. I didn't order the fabric because this is fine. I like it, but it's maybe just a little too mottled, or not. It's not even that. I like a little more even modeling, if that makes sense. It wasn't the color. It's just I like a little more even. And I think I'm gonna do it on 40 count. So the designer called for vintage exemplar, so I have some exemplar, but it's in 36. So I may play with that. I haven't decided yet. But this one may be either a birthday start or New Year's Day start. I love it that much. So very excited. Very excited about that. And then I ordered this beauty. I think someone had shown theirs on Instagram or Flosstube. I don't remember. Regia Heibel, and the called for fabric, or no, this isn't called for. I think this might be a conversion. Oh, it is the called for, except I'm using 36. They call for 40. So thinking about it now, I'm probably fine with 40. I'm almost to the full being on the 40. But look at these silks. These were the culprit for holding up my order. I think it was one of the colors, but I'm excited to be using these. I've never ordered a full set of the silks, the 100.3s. So I'm very excited to do that. It's just so pretty. I wonder if that was the called for threads, or if our friends at the attic did a conversion. Yeah, so this is the attic's conversion, even more special. So it's gorgeousness. Can't remember where I saw this, but had to have it. I think it's the MJ 1810. Hopefully I'm saying that right. This is like a tomb. It's really thick. I didn't take it out of the package, but there's got to be 20 pages in there. Isn't that amazing? So this may get kitted up. It looks like it's all DMC, and they called for was 36 count parchment. Oh my Lord, I just saw the stitch count. It's 518 wide by 396 high. Oh my goodness. Maybe it's going to be a pattern that I just look at and take enjoyment from looking at it. I don't know. It's maybe I'll just, stitch this bottom half or something. But I can only imagine what this looks like in real life. It's stunning. I'm pretty sure that picture does not do it justice. And then the last piece, this one I definitely, someone on my Instagram was stitching, is from Fox and Rabbit. Elizabeth Broadhead. I may try to find the fabric. It's 40 count white clay. I would be willing to wait for it. I'm learning some things are just worth the wait. I love the motif, that bird, and like it's giant pear or an apple in there. Got a couple angels. It looks pretty symmetrical. 11 years old to stitch this. Blows my mind. Love that. So that was my exciting order from the attic. Wasn't it wonderful? So I highly recommend, if you can't drive or fly over to the attic, just let your fingers take the traveling for you and hit the push button. They were very nice. I corresponded a couple times and with them, and you know, other than the weight, and that's nothing they can control, because the silks come when the silks come. Got this from House of Stitches, one of my local shops. Love this. Haven't settled on the fabric. I don't know if I'm starting it this year. I might, because why not, you know. But I just wanted to show you a few of these. The color palette is brighter. I don't have them on thread drops yet, but look at those. A lot of brightness. Pretty. I just, look at that Santa. Speaking of Santas, yeah, it's Kathy Barrick has come out with another one, and I was trying peppermint, and no, Brenda from With the Needle and Thread came out with some new design, is coming out with new designs, and Kathy Barrick with a Santa. I wish I remembered. Man, my finger hit the button very quick on those. They're fantastic. And Plum Street has some new designs coming out too. Gotta have them all because I love them. This was another little thing that Katie with So Tattered got me in trouble, and I'm trying to think who else. There's a couple other Instagrammers. She just, was it Ginger Show, I think, on Instagram? She just showed her finished quilt that's been already quilted and everything. So, but this is the Cheddar and Coal line. Oh my goodness, this fabric. I got the layer cake, but I want to show you one of the ones that's my favorite. They're all my favorite. Even if you're not a quilter and have no desire to quilt, every fabric in this layer cake would be excellent finishing fabric. Especially if you're into some of the more prim. Can't find the one that I like best, but it would make wonderful finishing fabric. So you didn't, or sometimes they sell it by the half yard or even a fat quarter. Of course, I should have had that pulled out for you. But so you could just pick up a couple, you know, different colors. But the whole, even this one would make an excellent backing fabric for like Halloween or autumn. But there was one floral in here. Here it is. Love this floral. Love it. I think Lisa with Kindred Stitcher, she just did a show and tell with that. Oh, here it is in the lighter color. Equally as beautiful. So I'm very happy about that. I will do some kind of quilt with that. So thanks, Katie, I think. So I think that is probably all of my stash that I'm going to show you. I thought I would show you just a handful of things, and this is subject to change. But I'm going to whip out a couple of those this year from Hands On Design. Got the fabric. They're just cute. I think she just is coming out with another chart too that will go well with this. I want to start this guy. I had originally seen this on Pam on Just Keep Stitching last year or the year before, and I had to, this is an older kit, it's been around for a while, but it's called the Pine Tree Santa, and I grew up in northern Maine, and it's called the Pine Tree State. So when I saw this, I had to have it. So I have all three in the series. There's one called Juniper Santa, which my family, Joe's siblings, they call me Juniper. And then, so of course I had to have that one. And then there's a Holly Berry Santa in this trio. They're just, each one is as cute as can be. So that's definitely a contender. These ornaments, I had picked this up last year online. You can do a download. So I want to get started on that. I have to do this. This was from last fall when I went to the country sampler. And it came as a kit. It had the floss and the fabric. And it's actually pretty small. And someone did it. Michelle of My Finishing Touch, I think, did a finish for one of her clients that had done it on like 46 count or 56 count. Like, it's really tiny. It's amazing. So I'll keep it at a modest, you know, I think this is 36 count. Yeah, we'll just keep it at 36. And it still will be pretty small. And then this one. And I want to somehow frame it. I love the contrast of that black gingham with that house. So I have all the colors. So this will be a start. And also from Stacy Nash, I didn't put it in here, is The Gathering of the Greens. It's a beautiful one with greenery in the border and then a beautiful house. So that one's a contender. So as you can see, I have no shortage of projects at all. So I think that's going to be it for stitching. And just real quick, I thought I'd give you a little update on some of my knitting, just a couple things, and then we'll call it quits for today. Hope I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, I should mention, while I just popped into my head, I signed up for the Jingle Ball. How about you guys? I kind of missed out last year. I felt bad about that. And so this year I had on my calendar and everything, and I had already signed up for the emails, and you can still sign up for the ball. My understanding is a lot of the classes are getting full, but there's a couple classes that everyone can participate in, so there's no maximum. $10, can't beat it. But so I signed up. I did sign up for the class, the PDF class from Hands On Design. I'm trying to think what it was. It was the little mattress pincushion one. It had Jingle Ball. So I did the PDF version of that. So anyway, sign up. Now we have, this is an old whip. I printed it in black and white, but you could always go on Ravelry or online. It's called the Coffee Talk. And it's Tracy Millar, M-I-L-L-A-R is the designer. She's part of the Grocery Girls trio. Those two girls are sisters. I enjoy watching them. They're very inspirational on their projects. Sometimes I just have to tell you, their language gets a little salty sometimes. So if that kind of thing bothers you, just so you know. But they're funny. They interact just as you would expect sisters to interact. But neat ladies, gorgeous knitters. And I got one of the socks done, and I immediately cast on. Isn't this pretty? And I chose this length, more of a, not a full sock, but not like a anklet kind of thing. These little markers just help me for when I do the second sock. And I immediately cast on, so hopefully these will be done. That's the, whoops, here it is over here. I'm using Flexi Tips. Have you guys, Flexi Flips. And instead of the traditional, I usually use DPNs. Some people do the magic loop, which are 2 long needles. You have options. And I like these. I still probably like my DPNs the best. But I do like knitting with these. And I'll get going on that. So that's hopefully a finish in November. And, oh, the yarn, I should tell you about the yarn. This yarn was in my stash. I don't think, she's on a hiatus, has been, so I don't know if she'll die anymore. But it was, her name just left me and I didn't write it down. Well, you can't get this yarn right now. And then same with this, very old, some friends that dyed some yarn for me. Let's put it that way. Then this yarn you could get in this project. I actually I followed the rules and I did gauge swatching. I did 3 different yarns. It was all yarn in my stash. I did a big cleanup of my yarn. I had to rip out some projects because they were way too big for me now. And so rather than get rid of the yarn, I'm gonna just do something different. But this first one is yarn. I've not used this before. It's called Camper. It's from Kelborn Woolens. Look at this gorgeous color. Beautiful teal color. And I am going to make this. I'll be casting on soon. I just did my gauge swatch. So, and then I'm going to use those little tags that I use in stitching, and I'll put all the gauge info and what yarn and what on the tag and keep it with it so I don't have to reinvent the wheel if I want to use that yarn again. The one that I've been stitching on a fair bit is this one. And actually I have a couple other projects, but I didn't bring them over. But I thought I would show you this sweater that I started. This was yarn I had in stash, and this one kind of gave me some fits. Let me see if I can find that page. This is called My Croft. One of my favorite designers. I wish her patterns were a little more size inclusive, but her sweaters fit me right. It's from Isabel Kramer. I've done a couple of her sweaters, but I had and I'm working in Cascade 220, which to me is really more of a worsted weight and not a DK, which is what this calls for. But this is the sweater starting. Everything blocks out pretty, but that's the neck across the shoulders. And this was the culprit right here. The back of the neck, you use something called short rows to make the neck higher. It has to do with how it fits to our bodies and stuff. But you can see the starting of the arm there. So it's starting. So excited. This, because I'm probably knitting at a tighter gauge. These are on size 6 needles than what I would normally with Cascade 220. I probably would normally knit with a size 7 needle. But this structure, it's good with this pattern, with this texture. It's holding it very well. So I like that. So this will get a lot of attention. Now that I got through the hard part that I did like 4 or 5 times, I had done my gauge swatch for that. So lots of fun things going on over here in my needlework on the go life. I probably have other things, but that's all I think I'll share. Showed you a few of my Stitchy plans and the knitting projects. I'm probably set on that. I want to kind of get going on a quilt. It's pieced, but I want to get going and motivate myself to be confident enough to do that. I want to hand quilt it. I've decided I need to just get over that. Machine quilting is faster, probably equally as gorgeous, but I like handwork, so I'm okay with hand quilting, but I need to feel confident that I'm doing it. And sometimes you just have to dive in and do it, right? Well, I hope whatever you're up to in the next few weeks that you have some blessings and joys in your life. And if you're on the go or just gone from your sofa maybe sitting outside on your patio, joining some friends, wherever you go. I trust that you are enjoying life and enjoying your needlework. Till I see you again, take care.